Just heading up to have a quick look at the colonies. Yeah, so not too cold today, minus 15. But we're getting lots of snow, so it's I don't have my snowshoes on, but I'm almost at snowshoe depth. Yeah, it's calling for minus 40s later, early next week, so we'll see. But based on the numbers, everything looks pretty good, so I'll go get my data and I'll be back from the colonies themselves, because I'll probably take a face plant if I try to film and walk in this snow. Beautiful winter wonderland or winterland or whatever you want to say. But yeah, colonies are calm, lots of snow protection. This is my control colony with a bunch of sensors but no bees in it. What it does is it gives me what the baseline temperatures and humidity levels would be in the colony without bees, so kind of practical, and I've never done that, so it'll be good. You can see back here a little bit of separation between the plywood and the snow. Just tells me that there's heat coming from inside, so the bees are alive. You'll notice the plywood here out front, pretty much keeping the entrances free from much snow, and the little overlap here on my simple roof helps keep the snow from dropping and plugging these entrances off. Just one more thing, for those who use broodminders, they have that product called Subhub. Typically in the summer, I'll have it right below that game camera there. There's a little white plastic container where I keep my Subhub. What it does, it collects all the sensor data and stores it in one location, and then it makes the download or the upload much easier. In winter, the batteries would die right away, so I can't really store it outside. So what I did is, if you know how I winter my colonies, I always have an empty super or medium or full size with 2 to 3 pieces of styrofoam. So right there, so the H12, that colony there, so my Subhub is actually below the lid, and about 3 sheets, so 6 inches of styro. So these paradise boxes actually have an indent in the lid for pollen patties, so actually the Subhub fits perfectly in there. So instead of the sensor being, or the hub being exposed to minus 30, 40, when it gets really cold, it'll get a max of maybe minus 5, minus 10 up there. So it's a way of using Subhubs in the winter. So you actually store it above a colony in a fairly central location, and a battery should last. So it makes my uploads much easier. I do have one issue. One of my original sensors from 4 years ago in this colony here, the one right in the middle position, so it's one of those TH, so temperature and humidity. I'm guessing the signal's not strong enough, so it's being missed by the Subhub. So what I usually do, or what I do, is I come and download the data directly, because there's missing points if I do it from the Subhub, and then I upload that to my broodminder, so I get full data, and then I go and sync all the devices at the same time using the Subhub. So last year when I was doing these 33 sensors, I'd freeze my hands off, my battery on my phone would die, because it would take probably 30 minutes to half an hour to 45 minutes, I should say, to upload all the data, and it was extremely slow with the old app. But now it takes me less than a minute to do 2 weeks to a month worth of data, and I'm not freezing my hands off, so it's actually a really good thing. So yeah, I'll probably come do a bit of cleanup here, add some snow to the walls, and just check the entrances. So For example, this colony here on the edge, humidity is around 70% right now. It's slightly higher than normal, but it's within average. I just want to make sure the entrance isn't plugged with dead bees, because that would be a way for humidity to start climbing up. There's an open screen bottom board, so again, I'm not too worried about it. Most of that moisture will just, if it condenses through the open screen bottom board and into the crawl space. So the bees are, based on the measurements I just took, they're all alive and seem to be doing well. Cheers. So I decided to come out this morning to pile the snow and take a bit of snow off the roof. So you can see I've circled the enclosure there with snow. Adds some really good insulation. It's about -23 this morning. But I guess the cold temps are coming back, so I just have to watch that out. And I'm just doing an entrance check to see if they're clear and just give me an idea of bee mortality. So you'll notice one will have a bit of slightly more dead bees, but it was a very full colony. So what I'll do is I'll take a sample and test them for Nosema, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I haven't really checked these entrances in probably a good 2 months. You can see a few dead bees there, but nothing major. I'll just scrape them apart. Same here, a few dead bees, nothing to worry about. Notice this one here, a pile of dead bees out front there. The entrance not really plugged, but I had a feeling that they probably had a heating event, which caused them to burst out, and then they probably died in the snow. But I'll check them from Nosema. Here's the other colony again. Bottom entrance clear, and this is another my doubles, really full box of bees. A few dead bees out front, nothing major. I'll just give it a quick scrape with the hive tool, should be fine. But yeah, overall not too bad. This one here has the most, but I've seen way worse in our climate, so hopefully they come out clean. And yeah, that's it. Sorry for my little finger in the screen, but I'm in 2-3 feet of snow right now. So there we go. I'll come back with my Nosema check. So I grabbed a bunch of dead bees from the colony. I'm gonna do a quick Nosema check. What I'll do is I'll pick 10 of these bees randomly. And then I'll do a couple of individual bees just to give me an idea of what's in their stomachs. So I'll pick a tiny bee for the individual bee. So I'll put this bee here, pretty small abdomen. I'll squish it on that slide. And then I'll find the biggest bee in the group here. And then I'll put that on the slide too. So let's see. I'll just take... see this one's, see they're all pretty tiny, but yeah, so let's see, I'll take this one, it's got a bigger abdomen, and I'll put that one over here. And then what I'll do is I'll take 10 of these bees and I'm going to squish them as a whole, so it'll give me a general idea of Nosema. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's go with 10. I'll just put these on the side because they're thawing out. Don't want to leave bee juice everywhere. And I'll clean that up after. So what we'll do is we'll put 1 mil per bee inside the the packet here, and then I'm going to squish them together. So that would give me, so if there's 10 bees, so I need about 10 mils. So let's do that. So this is just distilled water. Okay. Oh, so there's a bit more than I need. Just use this syringe and suck it up. Go. So there's about 10. And then I'll just squeeze it in there. And then we're going to macerate that. The water. My little home lab isn't the biggest, so I have to be careful not to knock things over. So easiest thing to do here is just use a mason jar. I've got a honey jar here from my other project, so I'm just gonna use it to squish all these bees. And then I'm gonna basically, there we go. So you want all the contents out. I'm going to use my fingers just to make sure that everything gets well mixed together, and then I'm going to take a drop of that, put it on the slide, then put a cover slip, and that's that. So you can see over here there's some feces there stuck together, so it's important to mix everything together. And the reason you put water in there is to help with the mixing, and also, here we go, just want everything to be in the corner, and then when the corner, you can just squish it like that. Just mix it, mix it, mix it. And then I'm going to use a little chopstick there. You can use almost anything, just to put a dab of the liquid on top of the slide. Let's see, I've got a mixing stick here. Okay, so just keep mixing it. Again, Nosema spores are kind of heavy, so they'll sink. So you want to make sure you don't wait too long after maceration to take your little sample. What I'm going to do is just mix it around. Okay, like that. And then put a drop. I'll put a couple drops. Like that. And that should be good. And I'll put that on the side. I'll close this up so it doesn't leak out. And we'll clean it up after. So what we can do is just take a slip. I'll need a couple, so we'll take one to start off, and I'll just put it on there. Good, there's one. And I'm just going to use the outside edge of this these tweezers to pretty much squeeze the guts out. So I'll grab her by the abdomen, and then you just push down, and then you push her poo out. You see it's fairly dry. It's a very concentrated feces, which is normal. So maybe these bees actually died of I'll say of dehydration. So I'll just add a couple of drops of water on there just to help mix it. Yeah, so I'm just going to use this end to mix it around, to break it down a bit. Before I put this lip on, you can see it's much more concentrated than the first sample. So this was the big B, so I'll write big B on this stick. Okay, so I'll put my slip on there, and then we'll do the last one. Okay, so it's important to keep decent records. So I've got a Sharpie here. I'll just put 10 on this one for the 10 B's. This one I'll put B for big, and that one I'll be small. Okay, so there's 2 slides, and then one more to prepare. I'll actually use a different pair of tweezers this time. Don't want to cross-contaminate. And this is the small bee, and again, you're just going to take it. You could use a butter knife to do the same thing. You can see her stomach's actually empty. Nothing in there. Nothing's coming out. So it might actually be dehydration. So these bees are from my biggest double colony, and there was actually quite a few dead bees on the bottom board that I scraped up. So yeah, let's try again. And yeah, let's see if anything comes out this time. I get very concentrated poops. So I'm doing another little project now on water balance in the colony. So one way that the bees actually moderate or control water in the colonies is through basically their system. They're able to recycle water, digested water, so through their system. So that's one way they do it. But yeah, so let's see what's in this poo. Get another slip. I think there's only one. Oh, there was two. And I'll close that up. There we go. Okay, so this is TubeView. This is the software I use for my microscope. So I've got those 3 slides ready. So what I'll do is I'll start with the 10 bee gut sample. Just to have a quick look, I'll start at 10 power, just to get it in focus so I can have a quick look. Usually you won't be able to see much at this level. So yeah, first thing I see is those amoebas. I'm assuming, let's see. Yeah, so I'll just darken it a bit. So you'll notice these white globes. It's another amoeba cysts. It's another disease I'm looking at. So it potentially has an effect on, again, the it's in the digestive system. So there's quite a few of these globes. What I'll do is I'll go to 10 power. Really dark, so I'll have to lighten it up. And get it into focus. And I do notice a bit of Nosema at first glance. So you can see how these oval shaped items, I guess things, those are Nosema spores. There's not a lot, so it's not too worried about Nosema levels. They are dead bees outside the hive. But again, you can see these white globes now. So I will take a few pictures because I'm not an expert at this. I'd like to get a proper diagnosis or somebody to confirm what these things are. So there's a bit of Nosema with, for example, in this slide or this view, there's 1, 2, 3 of those globes, and there's maybe 4, 5, 6 Nosema spores. Typically, if I showed you a high concentration, this here would be just full of Nosema spores. So not too worried about it yet. Okay, looks like pollen, some more pollen. Those globes again. It's still some tension in that slide. More globes. So just for the camera's sake, so right now I'm at ×40, so magnification. So I do have a measurement tool and device, so it's all whatchamacallit, it is calibrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a snapshot and I'm going to do a couple of measurements. So I'll do that, snapshot, and let's see, snap. Okay, here's the first picture. So it's got about 7 micron diameter. This one's a bit longer, but generally the same size. Get the two axes. Oops, delete that. So let's see, delete that one. So again, if I measured the Nosema spores, enable it. I'll just go back to the live camera. Okay, just want to check to make sure that calibration works in the picture too. So yeah, I get the same 705, which is good. And then the Nosema spore here, for example, boom. I'll just go back to the picture and I'll zoom in, oops, to 33%. And let's see, let's just do one that's fairly elongated. So I'll take it from end to end. It's about 5. Like that by 3. So I think they're typically in the 6 range, 6 microns. So ballpark okay. I'll confirm that and just make sure there, but it pretty much looks like Nosema. Okay, just a little bit of information on this amoeba disease. So digestive system caused by this protozoan. It's ingested. It's in the Malpighian tubules. It's spread similar to Nosema, typically not associated with colony mortality, but it does cause it seriously impairs the functioning of these tubes, which act like the kidneys of the bees. Here's a link, so what I'll do is I'll post this in the video. This is from the USDA. Again, they don't really say much about what it causes, but you can see from the picture here it does look similar. So we did notice these things in the video that I took. If the other thing here, you can see the cysts measures 5 to 8 microns, which pretty much aligns with the 5 to 7 microns that I measured on the screen. And basically here's this from another paper, Johnson Johnson, honeybee colony in winter, so water not absorbed in the midgut is retained in the hindgut, where it forms a reserve that is utilized by osmotic diffusion when water content in the hemolymph becomes too low. Water used by the bees for diluting honey, producing digestive secretion, flushing waste nitrogen products from the famous tube into the hindgut can be used for reabsorption. So basically, it's the tube that connects what it looks like the mid to hindgut. So if you know bee anatomy, basically they have the first gut, they have their bee gut, then or their crop, and then they have a midgut where they start digesting and they store some moisture and some different things, and eventually things get pushed on to the hindgut. So that's what that is. So it looks like that's what the colony has. Thank you.